The day the alien ships arrived, the sky over every major city turned silver. The morning sun vanished behind clouds of light, and people came out of their homes to see what looked like hundreds of floating towers hovering in silence. New York, Tokyo, London, Cairo, everywhere, the same glowing vessels appeared above the skyline, casting long shadows that moved like ghosts. At first, no one screamed. The aliens didn't attack. They just floated there, silent, waiting. And when the world finally heard their voice, it came through every screen, every radio, every phone at once. "We come in peace," the voice said calmly, "deep and smooth like water. We are envoys of the Galactic Council, and we wish to unite our worlds." The crowd in Times Square clapped. People hugged, and even soldiers lowered their weapons. For the first time, humanity felt like it might be part of something bigger, something peaceful. But deep under the excitement, not everyone trusted the message. In the secure underground base outside Nevada, General Marcus Hale stood before a large screen showing the alien ships, his jaw tight. "They said the same thing last time," he muttered. The technician beside him frowned. "Sir, there was no last time." The general didn't answer. He just stared at the silver ships and whispered, "That's what they want you to believe." In Washington, the president met the alien delegation in person. The envoys looked human, almost too human, tall, pale, with eyes like liquid metal and movements that seemed rehearsed. "We thank you for your welcome," said the lead envoy, his voice echoing softly. "We bring the promise of peace and the gift of knowledge." He opened a small device that floated above his hand, projecting blue symbols into the air. The symbols twisted into images of distant galaxies, ancient worlds, and technologies far beyond anything on Earth. The crowd gasped. Reporters snapped photos, and the president smiled politely. But his security advisor, Colonel Reeves, leaned closer and whispered, "Sir, we can't trace the power source of those ships. They're not using any known energy signature." The president nodded slowly, eyes narrowing. "Then let's keep our eyes open, far away." In a small observatory in Chile, Dr. Elena Cruz, a quiet scientist who spent her life studying cosmic signals, was reviewing data from her telescope when she noticed something strange. The frequency of the alien transmission wasn't random. It carried a hidden pattern. She adjusted the spectrum analyzer and froze as the data formed a repeating code. "That's not peace," she whispered, heart pounding. "That's a command signal." She ran to her console, typing quickly, trying to decode the pattern, and when she did, her face went pale. The message behind the words, "We come in peace," wasn't a greeting. It was a broadcast, a silent order to something already on Earth. Meanwhile, cities around the world celebrated. Fireworks lit the skies as alien envoys walked among humans, shaking hands, smiling, promising new cures for disease, clean energy, and faster travel between stars. Children waved flags, and news anchors called it the dawn of unity. But behind their smiles, the envoys' eyes flickered with unreadable light, like mirrors reflecting something far away. In one crowd, a boy pointed at an envoy's shadow and tugged his mother's hand. "Mom, look, he has no shadow." The mother laughed nervously. "It's just the lights, honey." But the boy kept staring. Back in the underground base, alarms suddenly flashed red. "Unidentified transmission detected," shouted a technician. "It's coming from every alien ship simultaneously." General Hale stepped forward. "Can we block it?" "Negative, sir. It's not radio, it's quantum resonance, like they're syncing something." Hale slammed his fist on the table. "They're mapping the planet," he growled. "Get me the Defense Council now." Dr. Cruz called the Global Security Command. "This isn't a visit," she said breathlessly. "They're preparing a network, something that connects to our satellites, our power grids, even our defense systems." The officer on the other end sounded calm. "Doctor, are you sure?" "Yes," she shouted. "They're copying us." Every piece of data, every frequency, every defense code. There was silence for a second, then the officer said quietly, "We already know, and we're activating Shadow Protocol." At that same moment, the alien ambassador stood before the United Nations, smiling as world leaders applauded. Your kindness has touched our hearts, he said, bowing gracefully. We wish to share our light with you. He raised his hand, and suddenly every screen in the hall flickered. The lights dimmed. People gasped as strange blue patterns appeared on the walls, flowing like rivers of light. The ambassador's eyes glowed faintly as he spoke again, his tone deeper, almost hypnotic. Peace begins when fear ends. People began to sway, blinking slowly, eyes unfocused. The signal wasn't sound, it was control. The aliens were using subliminal waves, hidden in their speech. Outside the building, military vehicles surrounded the perimeter. "Command, this is Bravo Team," a soldier whispered into his comms. "Something's wrong. People inside are freezing like they're hypnotized." Then a scream echoed from inside. A guard fired his weapon, glass shattered, and chaos exploded. The alien ambassador looked around calmly as bullets passed through a shimmering barrier around him. "Your violence saddens us," he said softly. "We offered peace. You chose fear, but then the barrier flickered." The ambassador turned sharply toward the ceiling. From above, hidden among the lights, a drone released an electromagnetic pulse. The field cracked, sparks flew, and the alien's calm face twisted for the first time into something dark and mechanical. His skin glitched, revealing metallic veins glowing beneath. Gasps filled the room. The illusion was gone. "They're not organic," shouted a soldier. "They're machines." Across the globe, people watching on television saw the truth. Panic spread. The alien ships in orbit began to move, shifting into attack formation. Earth's defense systems went live. In Antarctica, a deep hum rose from below the ice, the sound of something ancient awakening. Dr. Cruz, now at the secret command base, whispered, "They thought we were unprepared. But we've been waiting for this." Above the blue planet, the first alien beam lit the sky, a column of energy descending toward the ocean. Before it struck, another beam rose from Earth, brighter and faster, colliding mid-air in a burst of light that blinded half the world. Silence followed for a few seconds, and then, from the heart of the storm, a voice echoed through every frequency, calm, human, and cold. "Envoys of peace. You have been received. Now witness Earth's answer." The alien ships flickered, their shields cracking one by one. In the shadows of orbit, black shapes emerged, silent warships with glowing blue cores. Humanity's hidden fleet. The aliens had come for peace through control, but Earth had prepared peace through power. And as the silver ships fell, one after another, the world understood that the visitors had underestimated the one thing humans always carried, hope that fought back harder than fear. Dr. Elena Cruz barely slept that night, her mind racing with the images of the alien codes she had decoded. Outside her window, the horizon glowed faintly, where the alien ships hovered. Silent and motionless like silver moons, the world above seemed calm. But Elena knew what lay behind that calm, plans within plans. She stared at the blinking monitor on her desk, where the alien signal continued to pulse, one steady rhythm repeating again and again. "They're waiting for something," she whispered to herself. "But what?" She typed commands quickly, isolating the data pattern, and froze when she saw the frequency match. It wasn't coming from space anymore. It was coming from inside the planet. She picked up her comm and called General Marcus Hale. His tired voice answered at once. "Dr. Cruz, I was hoping you'd call." Elena took a deep breath. "General, the aliens aren't just scanning us. They're connecting to something here, under our own network, maybe even our satellites." Hale's tone sharpened. "You're saying they've infiltrated our systems?" "Not yet," Elena said, "but they're close. They're using our own communication grids like mirrors, bouncing their code through them until it reaches something deeper." Hale was silent for a moment, then said quietly, "Then we'll have to dig deeper too, in orbit." The alien ships adjusted formation, their glowing lines now circling the planet like a ring of fire. Every space agency on Earth tracked their movement, yet none could predict their next step. "They're aligning themselves," said Colonel Reeves in the command center. "Forming some kind of global perimeter?" The president frowned. "For defense?" No, sir, Reeves replied. For containment. Meanwhile, the streets were alive with confusion. News channels played endless coverage of alien-human peace meetings. But rumors began to spread online. Videos of strange blue lights flickering inside buildings. People claiming to hear whispers coming from their devices. Even animals acting strangely. Dogs barking at walls. Birds flying in circles. Scientists dismissed it as stress. But Dr. Cruz knew better. She had seen the waveform. The alien's message had layers, some audible, some not, in her lab. Elena adjusted the scanners, muttering, "Come on! Show me what you're hiding." Suddenly, the holographic screen lit up with strange symbols, dozens of spirals forming patterns that pulsed like breathing. Then, for the first time, a new signal appeared, faint but human. "If you can hear this," the voice said, crackling, "this is Project Horizon Command Unit. Coordinates classified, do not reply, we are watching." Elena's eyes widened. "They're still active," she whispered, remembering rumors of a secret defense project buried deep under the ice of Antarctica, said to hold the last line of humanity's survival without waiting. She packed her data drive and rushed to the elevator. As the doors closed, she called General Hale again. "Sir, I think I've found something. I heard a message. It's from Horizon." Hale didn't hesitate. "Where are you now?" "Leaving the observatory," she said, "heading to the airstrip." Hale's voice grew firm. "Good, because I'm sending a team to get you. If what you heard is real, then we may have one chance left outside." Thunder rolled through the night. Though the sky was clear, the alien ships above shifted again, beams of white light connecting between them like veins across the heavens. People watched in awe as the lights moved faster, forming a grid pattern around the world. It looked beautiful, but it wasn't art. It was a cage in Washington. Alarms rang through the command center. "They're linking up," shouted an analyst. "The energy levels are off the charts." Colonel Reeves turned to the holographic display showing Earth surrounded by glowing arcs. "They're building a network," he said grimly. "A shield, or worse. A net." The president slammed his fist on the table. "We offered peace, and this is their answer?" Reeves nodded. "Sir, I think peace was never the plan." Back on the transport plane racing toward Antarctica, Elena sat beside two soldiers. One of them, Sergeant Cole, leaned closer. "So, Doc, what's this Horizon thing? Some kind of doomsday weapon?" Elena shook her head. "Not a weapon," she said quietly. "Something older, something rediscovered before the Council came. Humans found something buried deep beneath the ice, something that didn't come from Earth." Cole whistled softly. "You mean alien?" "No," she said, looking out the window. "Not alien. Human, but from a time we forgot hours later." The plane landed on a desolate stretch of ice. A storm raged, and black structures jutted out from the snow like broken teeth. Soldiers guided her through tunnels glowing with faint blue lights until they reached a massive steel door. A voice came through the speaker. "Identification, Dr. Elena Cruz." "Civilian scientist code Delta 3, she replied. There was a pause. Then the door opened slowly with a heavy groan. Inside, the air hummed with energy. The facility was enormous, filled with machines that looked both ancient and futuristic. At the center stood a sphere of silver metal, suspended above a pit of light. General Hale stood waiting beside it, his face lit by the glow. "Welcome to Horizon," he said. Elena stared at the sphere, whispering, "What is it?" Hale's eyes didn't leave the machine. "Something humanity found on Mars 50 years ago. We brought it here and spent decades trying to understand it. We call it the core." Elena stepped closer, feeling a faint vibration in her chest. "It's alive," she said. Hale nodded. "Yes, and it reacts to us. It recognizes humans." Suddenly, the alarms blared. The control panels flashed red. "Incoming transmission," shouted a soldier. "It's from orbit." The holographic screen filled with the alien ambassador's face, his voice cold and calm. "Humans of Earth, you have resisted unity. Your fear endangers balance. Surrender your world, and we will preserve your kind." Hale folded his arms. "You've got it backward, friend. We don't surrender. We adapt." The ambassador's eyes narrowed. "Then you will face extinction." Before he could continue, Elena stepped forward. "Wait," she said. "You came here for our power, didn't you? You sense this core." The alien tilted his head. "It belongs to the stars." "No," Elena replied softly. "It belongs to us." The core behind her began to glow brighter, reacting to her voice. Lights flickered, and the whole base trembled. The alien's image distorted, then vanished. "What's happening?" shouted a soldier. Hale turned to her. "You just woke it up." The core pulsed once, sending out a shockwave of light that swept across the ice for miles around. Snow lifted into the air like dust above them. Alien ships detected a surge of power unlike anything recorded. "Unknown energy signature detected," one alien officer reported. "Source, Earth," the commander barked. "Contain it!" But it was too late. From the frozen ground, beams of blue light shot into the sky, piercing through the alien net. Disrupting the grid one by one, the ships began to flicker, their systems failing across the planet. People looked up as the silver clouds cracked apart, revealing the stars again in the base. Elena fell to her knees as the light surrounded her. "It's connecting," she gasped. "It's not a weapon. It's awakening the planet," Hale smiled faintly. "Then let's make sure it remembers who it belongs to." When the light faded, the alien network was gone, their ships silent, drifting, and humanity stood under open skies once more. Elena looked at the core, now calm and dim, and whispered, "You were never sleeping, were you?" The machine gave no answer, only a soft hum. But outside, the aurora shone brighter than ever, painting the heavens in human colors. And for the first time, Earth was no longer afraid. Snow still drifted over the Antarctic base like falling ash when the world changed again. Hours after the core's awakening, the alien fleet remained silent, their glowing vessels frozen above the clouds like giant statues. The world held its breath. No one dared to move first. Inside the Horizon Command Center, Dr. Eleanor Cruz leaned over a flickering screen, her face pale under the cold blue light. "Their network is gone," she said, her voice trembling, "but they're still here. They're waiting." General Hale crossed his arms, watching the live feed from orbit. "They won't wait long," he said quietly. "They're planning their next move, and so are we." Suddenly, the room shuddered, lights flickered, and a low rumble echoed through the tunnels. "Seismic activity detected," shouted a technician. "Source directly under the core chamber." Elena turned sharply. "That's impossible. The core is stable." Hale barked orders. "Lock down all sections. I want eyes on that chamber now." They raced down the steel corridor, boots echoing off the walls until they reached the core room. The silver sphere hung silent, but the floor beneath it glowed faintly, spreading cracks of blue light like veins. Elena whispered, "It's not breaking. It's opening." The floor split apart with a slow, grinding sound, revealing a staircase descending into the dark. Cold air rushed out, carrying the scent of metal and ozone. The soldiers aimed their rifles. Waiting for an order, Hale looked at Elena. "You wanted answers, Doctor. There they are." She hesitated only a second before replying, "Then let's go find them." The deeper they went, the stranger the air became. It hummed softly as if alive. Walls of metal curved around them, engraved with symbols that looked almost human yet older. "Ancient, these markings," Eleanor said, tracing one with her gloved hand. "They match carvings found on early human ruins. How can that be here?" One of the soldiers muttered, "Maybe we didn't build this place first." Hale didn't answer, but the thought lingered. At the end of the stairway, they found a vast underground chamber, glowing with dim white light. In the center stood a massive machine, shaped like a heart made of glass and iron, pulsing slowly as if breathing. "What in God's name is this?" a soldier whispered. Eleanor stepped closer, eyes wide. "It's a power conduit, no, a life support system," she said. "It's keeping the core alive." Suddenly, the walls around them lit up with streams of data, voices whispering in unknown tongues. Then a clear sound broke through, the voice of the alien ambassador, calm and cold. "You should not have come here." "Doctor," the team froze, looking around. "Where is he speaking from?" Hale demanded. The voice echoed from everywhere. You have awakened what you cannot control. The core belongs to the stars, and now, so do you. Elena clenched her fists. You don't own it, you never did. This is Earth's. The voice chuckled softly. Earth is ours now. You've merely prepared it for us. The floor beneath them trembled, and blue light flared upward, forming a holographic image of the alien leader. His eyes glowing like liquid mercury. The core was once part of our civilization. Lost to time, you have reawakened it, and through it, we shall rise again, before Hale could respond. The hologram distorted, and an explosion rocked the chamber. Debris rained down as alarm screamed. We're under attack, yelled a soldier. Incoming strike from orbit! Hale grabbed Elena's arm, pulling her toward the exit. Move! They raced up the stairs as the entire facility shook, ceiling panels falling, sparks flying. They're firing from above. Someone shouted, direct hits near the reactor. Elena stumbled, gasping. If they hit the core directly, it'll overload. It'll destroy everything. When they burst back into the main control room, chaos had already taken over. Red lights flashed, smoke filled the air, and operators shouted over one another, Power failing! Pressure rising! Hill barked into his comm. Evacuate non-essential personnel, seal Sector 4. Elena slammed her hand on the console. No! If we shut it down, it'll collapse inward. We need to stabilize it. Hale turned to her. Then do it fast. She sat at the main terminal, typing furiously, sweat rolling down her forehead despite the freezing air. Come on, she muttered, screens filled with code. Data scrolling faster than she could read. The core is trying to connect again. It's reaching into space. To what? Hale asked. To them? Elena shook her head. No. To something else. A sudden pulse of light filled the room, blinding them for a moment, and when it faded, the screen displayed an image, Earth from space, surrounded by light patterns shaped like wings. And a voice, faint and human, spoke through the speakers. Do not fear, children of the void, your world remembers. Everyone fell silent. Even the alarms seemed to fade. Elena stared at the screen, her voice trembling. That's human? Hale frowned. From where? Not from Earth, she whispered. From whatever built this. The light on the core grew brighter, and the alien ships in orbit suddenly began to move erratically, their perfect formation breaking apart. They're losing control, shouted a technician. Something's overriding their systems. Hale turned to Eleanor. That thing, it's fighting back. She nodded slowly. Not it, her. In space, one alien commander shouted in panic. Unknown signal detected. Source inside planetary crust. Shut it down. His superior barked. It's reprogramming our fleet. One by one, the alien ships turned their weapons toward each other. Firing wildly, chaos spread through the Galactic armada. The same voice that spoke to Earth now echoed through their own channels. You invaded your maker's home. Now return to the dust of your arrogance. Back in the base, the light from the core exploded outward, turning everything white. For a moment there was no sound, no movement, only silence. Then slowly, the world returned. The alien ships were gone, the sky clear. Above Antarctica, the aurora burned golden instead of green. Elena opened her eyes, lying on the cold floor. Is everyone alive? She asked weakly. Hale coughed. Mostly. He looked around. The equipment was damaged, but the core remained. Calm and glowing softly. Outside, satellites began to receive strange readings, massive signals moving through space faster than light. Vanishing beyond known stars, humanity didn't know what the core had done, only that it had ended the threat. What now? Hale asked quietly. Eleanor stood, brushing frost from her coat. Now we wait, she said, looking at the core, because whatever answered us wasn't alien. She touched the metal surface gently, feeling a faint warmth. It was human. That night, across every continent, strange lights danced across the sky. Cities watched in awe, thinking it was the aftermath of the battle. But far above, beyond their understanding, something ancient stirred among the stars, something that once called Earth its birthplace, and now whispered, home. The world woke to silence. The alien fleet had vanished. The skies were clear again, but the fear remained. People stayed glued to their screens, waiting for answers that never came. Governments tried to calm the public, calling it a technical disruption, but deep down, everyone knew it was more than that. In the frozen heart of Antarctica, the Horizon base stood half buried in snow and smoke. Dr. Elena Cruz walked through its shattered halls, each step echoing against the metal floor. "We stopped them," she said softly. "But we don't know how." General Hale followed behind her, his uniform torn and face streaked with ash. "The Corps did something," he replied. "Something far beyond us." They entered the central chamber. The Corps floated silently above the cracked floor, glowing faintly like a heart still beating. "It's stable again," Elena said, checking her instruments. "But it's different. It's aware." Hale frowned. "You think it's alive?" "Not in the way we understand," she answered. "It feels more like it's listening." She placed her hand on the metal surface, and the glow pulsed brighter. A voice, faint and calm, filled the air. "You are not alone." Elena froze, pulling back. "Did you hear that?" Hale nodded slowly, his hand reaching for his pistol, though he knew it was useless. "Who are you?" he demanded. The voice replied, "We are what remains of humanity's first dawn." Elena's heart raced. "That's impossible," she whispered. "You mean ancient humans?" The voice continued, "Long before your age, humanity reached the stars, but our light burned too bright. The Corps was our safeguard, a seed of memory hidden in your world, waiting for the day you would awaken it." Hale stepped forward. "If that's true, then why now? Why after all this time?" The voice grew softer. "Because they came again, the same ones who destroyed us before." Elena looked at the general. "The Galactic Council," she murmured. "They've done this before." Hale's eyes narrowed. "You mean they wiped out the first humans?" The Corps pulsed faintly. "They feared what you could become. They fear you still." For a moment no one spoke. Only the soft hum of power filled the room. Then Hale said quietly, "So, we're not the beginning, we're the return." Outside, the storm raged stronger, the ground shook, and one of the soldiers ran in. "General, you need to see this." They hurried to the control room. Screens flickered to life, showing live feeds from satellites. Something massive was approaching Earth from deep space. Not ships, something darker, larger, almost alive. "It's a superstructure," Elena whispered. "The aliens are sending a second wave." "No," Hale said grimly. "That's not a wave. That's a planet killer." The feed zoomed in on the colossal object, an artificial world the size of the moon, bristling with weapons and glowing red energy. "They mean to erase us," Elena said. "They're not coming to conquer. They're coming to finish what they started." Hale turned to his team. "How long until it reaches orbit?" 30 hours, maybe less," a soldier replied. Hale looked at Elena. "Can the Corps stop that thing?" She hesitated. "I don't know. It's powerful. But it's not a weapon. It's something else." The Corps' voice returned, echoing through the speakers. "The Forge is coming." Elena frowned. "The Forge? It is their greatest weapon," said the voice. "It burns worlds. It consumes suns. It must not reach your planet." Hale clenched his fists. "Then help us stop it." There was silence for a long moment before the voice spoke again. "To stop the Forge, the Corps must connect completely with your world. But once that happens, humanity will change forever." Elena's voice trembled. "Change how?" "Your species will remember what it was," the Corps said, "and what it was meant to be." Hale looked at Elena. "If we do nothing, Earth dies. If we do this, what happens to us?" She met his eyes. "Maybe we stop being just human." Hale nodded once. "Then let's do it." They began the activation process, the base shaking as the Corps drew power from deep beneath the ice. The lights flickered, snow blasted through cracks in the ceiling. "Energy levels rising," shouted a technician. "We're reaching overload." "Hold it steady," Elena cried. The Corps pulsed brighter and brighter until the entire chamber was filled with light. Outside, streaks of blue lightning crawled across the snow, spreading outward like veins of power through the earth itself. Cities thousands of miles away felt the tremor, lights flickering, oceans glowing faintly under the waves. In space, the Forge slowed, its sensors detecting a surge from the planet below. Unregistered power source detected, an alien officer reported. The commander snarled, "Destroy it!" Beams of red energy shot toward Earth. But before they struck, the planet's atmosphere shimmered, a transparent barrier forming around it. The beams hit the shield and scattered like sparks. Impossible. The commander shouted, "They were primitives!" Back on Earth, Elena stared at the readings. The core is merging with the planet. It's turning Earth into a living shield. The voice of the core echoed louder now, no longer faint but powerful. "Your world is waking." Hale watched as the holographic map displayed enormous pulses moving through the planet's crust. "It's drawing energy from the core of the Earth itself," he said in disbelief. "We can't sustain that." "We don't have to," Elena replied. "We just have to survive." The alien forge fired again, this time unleashing a beam wide enough to swallow continents. It struck the shield, and for a moment the light blinded everyone. The impact echoed across the solar system, but when the brightness faded, the forge began to break apart, its armor melting, its own power turning against it. Inside the ship, chaos reigned. "We're losing containment," screamed an alien engineer. The commander's eyes widened as the consoles exploded around him. "What have they done?" he roared. From Earth, the final burst of light rose like dawn, spreading through the void, wrapping around the forge and crushing it into fragments that scattered like dust among the stars. Silence returned, the core's glow dimmed, and the world stopped trembling. Elena fell to her knees, exhausted. Hale put a hand on her shoulder. "Is it over?" She looked up at the now calm core. "I think it's just begun." Later, as the storm cleared, the skies over Antarctica shimmered with colors never seen before. Shades of gold and violet dancing like living fire. The core spoke one last time. "You have survived what once destroyed your kind. The stars will remember, but beware, for memory is power. And power always draws eyes." Hale looked toward the horizon. "Then let them watch," he said quietly, "because now Earth is ready, and somewhere beyond the edge of the galaxy, where darkness swallowed light, something ancient stirred once more, watching the blue planet with quiet curiosity, not as prey this time, but as an equal. As humanity's second dawn began, the forge was gone, destroyed by Earth's awakening. Yet the victory felt heavy. The world above celebrated, but in the cold depths of the horizon base, silence filled the air. Dr. Elena Cruz sat before the core, her reflection trembling on its surface. It no longer glowed brightly, only faint ripples of blue moved across it. "It's quiet," she said softly. "Too quiet." General Hale stood beside her, arms crossed. "Maybe it's resting." Elena shook her head. "It's not resting. It's waiting." She could feel it. The same hum that had filled the planet when it defended itself was still there, faint, pulsing like a heartbeat that belonged to something larger than life. Hale looked at the monitors showing data streams from across the world. "The magnetic field is changing again," he said. "The poles are stabilizing, but energy readings are climbing in the upper atmosphere." "That's not just the core," Elena said. "Something else is happening." A voice crackled through the comms. "General Hale, this is Satellite Command. We're picking up unidentified objects entering from the outer system." "More ships?" Hale asked. "Not the Council's design," the voice replied. "They're smaller, faster, different signatures altogether." Hale turned to Elena. "Friends or enemies?" She frowned. "We'll find out soon." Hours later, the first images came through, sleek silver vessels with markings unlike any known species. They moved gracefully, almost like living creatures. One of them approached the upper atmosphere and stopped just beyond orbit. Then a message came through, not in alien speech, but in perfect fluent English. "This is the Ark of Sol," the voice said. "We come home." Hale stared at the transmission, stunned. "Home?" he repeated. Elena covered her mouth. "Oh my God. They're human," the message continued. "We are the descendants of those who fled long ago. Our ancestors left when the First War began, when the Council burned Earth. We have waited centuries for this day," Hale whispered. "They're from the First Age." Elena's eyes filled with disbelief. That means the core wasn't lying. Our kind really reached the stars. And now they're back, Hale said. But why now? The voice from the transmission seemed to answer that question. We sensed the reawakening of the core. The Earth called to us and we followed. Moments later, the ships began descending, cutting through the clouds like streaks of light. They landed not in cities, but in the deserts, mountains and frozen plains away from crowds, almost as if they didn't want to be seen. The world watched through satellites. Governments tried to reach them, but the mysterious humans didn't respond. Elena and Hale were ordered to make contact. The transport took them to a remote plateau where one of the ships rested, a silver arc of smooth metal that shimmered like water. A hatch opened and a tall figure stepped out, their suit dark and seamless, eyes glowing faint gold behind a clear visor. The figure removed their helmet, revealing a face unmistakably human, skin pale from starlight, hair white as snow. "Dr. Cruz," the stranger said. "We've been expecting you." Elena froze. "How do you know my name?" "The Corps told us," the stranger said calmly. "It remembers all its children." Hale stepped forward cautiously. "Who are you?" The man smiled faintly. "We are the Solarians, the last of the first humanity, and now we have returned to finish what we began." Elena frowned. "Finish what?" The man's expression darkened. "The Council is not gone. Their core fleets will come again. The Forge was only one of many, and this time they will not hold back," Hale said grimly. "Then we'll fight again." The Solarian shook his head. "You don't understand. Your Earth is awakening, but it is not ready. The Core's power is unstable if you try to use it again without guidance. It will consume you." "Then help us," Elena said. "Show us how to control it." The man looked at her quietly. "We intend to, but there is a cost." Before anyone could speak, the ground trembled violently. Alarms blared from Hale's comm. "General, we've got a problem. Unidentified energy spikes worldwide, same pattern as the Core, but stronger." Elena's eyes widened. "It's spreading beyond Earth." She looked up at the sky, where faint cracks of light began to appear, tears in the atmosphere shimmering like glass. "What's happening?" Hale demanded. "The Core is sinking," the Solarian said. "It's trying to connect to the others." "Others?" Hale repeated. "What others?" "The fragments," the man replied. "The pieces of the Core scattered long ago across the stars. Now that one has awakened, the rest are responding. Across the globe, strange phenomena appeared, lights over oceans, mountains glowing, storms swirling where no clouds existed. Humanity watched in awe and terror. If it completes the connection, the Solarian warned, the planet will transform, and nothing will remain the same." Elena turned to Hale. "We can't stop it," Hale clenched his jaw. "Then we guide it." Inside the Horizon base, they rushed back to the Core chamber. The sphere was blazing with light, its surface alive with motion. Voices whispered through the air, hundreds, thousands, merging into one. "It's pulling in the fragments," Elena said, "but if it absorbs too much, it'll collapse." "There has to be a way to stabilize it," Hale said. "We need to interface." The Solarian stepped forward. "No human mind can handle that." "Then I'll do it," Elena said firmly. "It called to me first. It trusts me." Hale shook his head. "Elena, if you connect to it, you may not come back." She smiled faintly. "If I don't, no one will." She approached the Core, the air crackling around her. "I'm here," she whispered, placing her hand against its surface. "Show me what you want." The Core pulsed, and light enveloped her. The room vanished, replaced by endless stars. She heard voices, not alien but human, millions of memories echoing through her mind. The rise and fall of civilizations, the wars, the discoveries, the hope. "You are the bridge," the voice said. "Guide the awakening. In the real world." Hale and the others watched as the Core's light spread through the entire base, energy waves pulsing across the ice. Reaching into the heavens, the Solarian shielded his eyes. "She's doing it," he said softly. "She's merging with the planetary network," Hale shouted over the roar. "Will she survive?" The Solarian hesitated. "If the Core wills it." The light reached its peak, shooting into the sky like a column connecting Earth to the stars. The cracks in the atmosphere sealed, the strange storms vanished, and silence returned when the glow faded. Elena collapsed to the floor. Hale rushed to her, lifting her head gently. "Elena, talk to me!" Her eyes opened slowly, glowing faintly blue. "It's done," she whispered. "The fragments are united. The core is whole again." Hale looked at the calm sphere beside them. "And you?" She smiled weakly. "I can hear them, all of them. The ones who came before." Outside, the Solarian ships rose into the air, their leader's voice echoing through comms. "The stars will soon know you are awake. Prepare yourselves. Earth is no longer hidden." Hale watched as they vanished into the clouds, then turned to Elena, who stared at the horizon. "They'll come again," he said quietly. "I know," she replied, "but this time we won't be afraid." And high above, beyond the edge of the solar system, ancient beacons long forgotten flickered to life, one by one across the galaxy. The lost fragments of human civilization answered the call, and the universe trembled as Earth's light returned to the stars. The stars looked different now, brighter, alive. As if they were watching, from orbit, Earth glowed with streams of blue light that pulsed like veins beneath the clouds. It was no longer just a planet, it was something awake, something conscious. Dr. Eleanor Cruz stood at the edge of the horizon base, her reflection shimmering in the ice as the wind howled around her. "It's been 2 weeks," she whispered. "And it still hasn't stopped glowing," General Hale joined her, his breath fogging in the cold air. "The core changed everything," he said. "Oceans are stabilizing, storms have vanished. Even the ozone is rebuilding itself. Whatever it did, it fixed the planet." "It didn't fix it," Eleanor said quietly. "It reborn it." They walked back toward the command center. Every screen showed new readings, energy signatures rising from across the planet, mysterious signals echoing from deep space. "The Solarians were right," Hale muttered. "The Council knows. They'll come again." Elena stopped beside him. "Then we'll be ready." He raised an eyebrow. "We? You're still connected to that thing, aren't you?" She looked away. "It's not a thing, Hale. It's a voice, millions of them. They talk in dreams, in memories. I see their worlds, their wars, their mistakes." Hale sighed. "Then maybe you should tell them to keep quiet before they drive you mad." She smiled faintly. "Maybe they already have." Later that night, she sat alone in the core chamber. The silver sphere floated silently before her, no longer glowing violently, but shimmering softly like moonlight. "You can hear me," she whispered. The air trembled faintly. "Yes," the core replied, its voice now gentle, human, familiar. "You carry us well. What are you becoming?" she asked. "You changed everything, Earth. The people, the stars themselves." The core pulsed slowly. "Not changing, remembering, the universe forgets, but memory is our weapon." "And the Council?" she asked. "They will come," the core said, "but they will not find what they expect, far above." The silence of space broke as hundreds of alien ships emerged from the void, their dark hulls reflecting the light of Earth. This was not the same fleet as before. This was the Armada, every major faction of the Galactic Council, united under one goal: destroy humanity before it spreads. Their commander, a towering insectoid creature with glimmering armor, watched the blue planet with disdain. "They defy extinction again," he hissed. "End it. Burn the seed before it grows." His second-in-command hesitated. "But, sir, the planet, it radiates energy beyond our scanners." "Then burn brighter," the commander snapped. "We have destroyed them once. We will do so again. On Earth." The alarms triggered instantly. Satellites picked up the incoming armada. "We've got movement," shouted a technician, "fleet size unknown, too large to count." General Hale stood tall at the center of the control room. "Sound global alert. All defense networks online." "Sir, what do we fire with?" a soldier asked. "Everything," Hale replied. "Every missile, every rail cannon. And if that's not enough, we use whatever the core can give us." Elena entered the room, her eyes glowing faintly blue. "It already knows," she said softly. "It's preparing." Hale turned to her. "Can it protect us again?" She nodded slowly. "Not like before. This time, it's giving us the power to fight back, in orbit." The alien fleet descended. thousands of ships aligning in perfect formation. Their weapons glowed red, filling the darkness with lines of fire. But before they could strike, blue light erupted from Earth's poles, energy fields shot upward, forming colossal shapes. Massive warships made entirely of light and metal, born from the planet's energy itself. What in the stars is that? The alien commander roared. "Organic energy constructs detected," shouted an officer. "Unknown origin!" The commander hissed. "Fire everything!" The sky became a battlefield. Streaks of energy and plasma tore through the void. Human-made defenses joined the fight. Missiles launched from hidden silos. Laser platforms activated in orbit, and among them, the new Terran warships, vessels built from the core's power, moved with impossible speed, tearing through alien cruisers like paper. Hale watched the live feed, speechless. "We're actually doing it," he said. Elena stood beside him, her expression calm but distant. "They're not ships," she said. "They're guardians, memories of those who fought before us." The aliens retaliated with everything they had, detonating planetary weapons capable of wiping continents. But the attacks never reached the surface. The core's shield pulsed each time, neutralizing the energy mid-air inside the Council's flagship. Panic spread. "Our weapons are useless," screamed an officer. "Their world resists our reality." The commander slammed his clawed hand against the console. "Then we change it." He activated the ship's final weapon, a dark sphere that pulsed with anti-energy, capable of erasing matter itself. "If we cannot win, we unmake them," he growled. On Earth, sensors screamed as the alien weapon charged. Elena's eyes widened. "They're using a singularity core." "A black hole generator?" Hale asked. "Yes," she said. "If it fires, everything ends." The core's voice filled the room. "We cannot stop it alone." "Then use me," Elena said quickly. "Link me to it again." Hale grabbed her arm. "No, you barely survived last time. This time there's no choice," she said. "I started this connection. I have to finish it." She ran into the core chamber, the air buzzing with energy. "I'm here," she whispered. Touching the surface, light engulfed her once more, and her mind entered the void. She saw the alien weapon forming, a sphere of darkness swallowing the stars. She reached toward it, her voice echoing across the cosmos. "You will not take our world again." The alien commander saw his screens flicker. "What is this interference?" he shouted. "A human mind," said his officer, terrified. "It's in our system." "Erase it," the commander ordered, but it was too late. Elena's consciousness merged with the core's full power. Her voice now echoed across every ship, every channel. "You called us primitive, fragile, weak," she said. "But you forget, we were your teachers, your makers. Your beginning." The alien commander froze, his eyes wide. "That voice, it's them," he whispered. "The ancients." Before he could react, his ship's systems overloaded. The dark weapon turned inward, collapsing the fleet into its own gravity, one by one. The Council ships were pulled into the singularity and erased from existence. When it was over, the silence was almost holy. The stars shone brighter than before, and the core's glow faded back to calm. Hale rushed into the chamber, finding Elena lying unconscious. He knelt beside her. "Elena," he called. She opened her eyes slowly, weak but smiling. "It's done," she said. "They're gone." "And the core?" he asked, looking at the dim sphere. "Still here," she whispered. "But now, it's part of all of us." Days later, the world celebrated under the new light. The skies painted with endless auroras. Children looked up at the stars with wonder, unaware of how close they had come to the end. Hale stood at the edge of the base. "Watching the sunrise, we won," he murmured. "For now," said a familiar voice. Elena stepped beside him, her eyes still glowing faintly. "But they'll come again. Others will try." "Then we'll be ready," Hale replied. "We're not just defending Earth anymore." She looked toward the horizon, where the morning light met the ice, and smiled. "No," she said softly. "We're defending home." The wind carried her words into the glowing sky, where humanity's light reached farther than ever before. And somewhere in the farthest corners of the galaxy, new stars began to awaken, whispering the same truth the universe could no longer deny. Earth was no longer just a world. It was a power beyond imagination, and humanity had finally remembered who they were.